Hey, hello everyone. I'm in here. I'm here. How y'all doing? Hi everybody. I am Dr. Alicia with Coaching with Dr. Alicia, and this is our book club, How to Be an Adult in Relationships, if you can see it with my fake background, with David Richo. And y'all know what it is. This is me talking about our Healing Haven book club, and we've been discussing for several weeks now the process of being an adult in relationships. For the past couple of weeks, we have been discussing conflict. Oh, Lord, we know conflict is inevitable, but what to do when conflicts arise. So, we're in chapter 5 of this book with the book club, How to Be an Adult in Relationships, the 5 keys to mindful loving, with by David Richo. David Richo is yet another fellow social worker. In case you don't know who I am a therapist, a couples coach, and I'm a social worker. And I'm here today to continue reading from chapter 5 that discusses conflict. What to do when conflict arises, and it is inevitable. We are going to have conflicts in our relationship. And today we're going to continue the conversation about what to do. And so, for many of us, conflict is ridden with really terrible, frightening experiences. When we all think of conflict, it's almost like conflict is a signal that there's something wrong and that the relationship will eventually dissolve. But I think that through our discussions on chapter 5, we're starting to realize that no, conflict is a signal that you need to get to know each other better. Conflict is a signal that there's some things that you need to address. There's some places of growth. Conflict is sometimes a part of a relationship where people misinterpret conflict to mean there's something wrong with men. They misinterpret conflict to mean there's something wrong with women, or there's something wrong with modern women, or there's something wrong with westernized society. It brings that up for some people, and that's not necessarily the case. It really is an opportunity to grow and to learn not only about your partner, but to also learn and grow and learn about yourself. So, this is what we're talking about. However, how you deal with conflict and your openness and willingness to address these issues and to address the complaints that all of us are entitled to in a romantic relationship, addressing these things sometimes can become quite complicated. And of course, that's what I'm doing. I'm an expert in conflict resolution. So this is a wonderful, this is really a wonderful time for us to get into conflict resolution. So we are on chapter 5. We pick up on page 154, and get your journals out, because this is really about writing down things and learning about yourself and growing. So this is the growth part. I like how the author arranges this book. He lays out everything, and then at the end of every chapter, he gives all of us challenges to do, to record, to process in your journals. So I think that's so important. Hey, everybody, I see like really good recurring people in the chat. Dennis, I see you in here. Dennis is in here. Mignon, how you doing? I got a Mignon. I have a stepsister named Mignon. I don't know too many people named Mignon, but if that's her, girl, hit me up. Anyway, Rhonda, how you doing? Welcome, Rhonda. Rhonda, Yvonne, let me know where you're from, and I'll shout you out. Anthony Jones from Oklahoma. I love listening to where you guys are from. So I got Oklahoma. What's up? San Diego. Oh my God, we're all over the place. Southern California, where it never rains. Thank you, Rhonda. Never rains in Southern California. A little dry in Southern California sometimes. Queens, New York. Oh, West Virginia. We got East Coast, West Coast. We got the South. We got Cindy. Is that Cincinnati? That's what that is. New York in the house. Oh, Elizabeth. Okay, by way of, oh my gosh, Wait, Elizabeth is Los Angeles, North Virginia. You're up in the Appalachian Mountains. Tallahassee. Hey, I used to live in Tallahassee. Eric, you know Tallahassee? I lived off of Buck Lake. You know about Buck Lake in Tallahassee? That's where I live. Buck Lake by Mahan Street. This has got a ring, be familiar to you if you live in Tallahassee, Florida, which is where I live. Chicago, Chi-Town. Hey, Natasha. Dennis is from Minneapolis. Look at everybody. We're from all over. Listen, this is the answer. This is how you join the resistance. Oh, Eric lives on Mahan. Yes, I know all about Mahan. In the South, it's called the Mahan. I don't know. I was calling it Mahan, and everybody corrected me and was like, it's Mahan. So I had to say it like that. Yes, Dallas. That's what's up. We got the South, we got the North, we got the Midwest in town. I'm from Illinois. I'm actually right now. I'm actually in Alabama, so I'm actually talking to you from the South. So anyway, welcome everybody. Let me dig into today. So today, this is the time where y'all need to get your journals out. This is chapter 5 journal, and we are talking about practices and things you need to do for conflict. Hit the like button and share. You and your partner going through something, share this video with them. Hello. And if you know a couple, or if you know someone who needs help with dealing with conflict, hit the like button and share. Be sure to do that because it's very important to get the message around. And we're from all over the world, but guess what? We all deal with conflict. So, oh, Winetta, how you doing? I haven't heard from you in a while. Nice to see you, Winetta, from Atlanta. I know who you are. Yes, yes. Okay, so we're going to start on page 154. I got the book out, How to Be an Adult in Relationships, The 5 Keys to Mindful Loving. Oh, it was on here by David Richo. And we're going to start about practices. So he begins practices. Whoa, he starts off talking about navigating resentments, navigating resentments, appreciation, and non-hurting. So this is something about resentments. Resentments, I know, happens when problems in a relationship doesn't get resolved. Although you may try to resolve it, you may try to talk about it, it never fully becomes resolved or managed appropriately. And so you start to have resentment. So he's beginning right now about resentment. Okay, here we go. Express resentments and appreciation daily. Very first sentence. He's telling all of us that we need to express appreciation on a daily basis, but we also need to express resentments on a daily basis. What do y'all think about that? Y'all think that's a good advice? Definitely, appreciation needs to be expressed a whole lot. Any little thing your partner does, make it a conscious effort to really, really talk about it. Yeah, Latanya's like, can I do that? I don't know. That's a hard thing to do. But this is what he's saying. Express resentments and appreciation daily. I think what he's saying, Renee, if not resent me, then what? Yes. So I think what he's saying is, don't bury things down. Do not, if there are things on your mind, if there's things really irking you and bothering you, the last thing you need to do is suppress it. Last thing you need to do is silence your voice. So maybe he'll go into it a little further. Express resentments and appreciation daily and directly to one another without giving feedback. Directly to one another. So he's saying, don't be passive aggressive. When you're mad at your partner, Don't become passive aggressive. Don't feel so uncomfortable expressing your resentments that you tend to do things that make your partner upset, knowing you make your partner upset, but it's really about something that you're not expressing directly. So I think you owe it to that person to express what's bothering you directly. Latanya has a comment here. I was wondering about that. Expressing appreciation, yes, but resentment, it's like putting money in the bank and turning right around and withdrawing. Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. Putting money in the bank. Hopefully, there's more appreciations that you're putting in the bank than resentments. And I talked to a lot of couples about how to express things that are bothering you, resentments that are building up. I talk about how to express it. And I think that you need to approach the situation. It's how you express it and how you approach everything that makes the difference. So I think when you have resentments or anger or complaints, you really do need to say, I got a bone to pick with you. When are you ready to hear what I got to say? Because I got a bone I got to pick with you. And I'm committed enough to this relationship to be able to talk about it. And men, fellas, don't you be burying how you feel. You're entitled to your complaint. So I think women, we're really good, I think, at being a little more vocal. But I think men need to speak up more about what's bothering them. What's bothering you? What's on your mind? Because guess what? I do read books on how to become psychic. I do read books on techniques that you can do to be clairvoyant, but I just can't read your mind. I just don't know. Yes, Winetta is right. You can tell the truth about how you feel, but you don't have to get all upset about it. You can do it in a way that's mindful. You can talk about your resentments that's in a mindful way, and really it needs to get listened to. How about that? Okay. So he's saying you need to express it, giving without feedback. So that's saying without getting defensive, listening to your partner, talk about what's bothering them without becoming defensive. Okay. Behind most resentments lies an abundant implicit demand. So there's a demand there. They're asking you to do something. Identify yours out loud. Behind most feelings of appreciation lies an implicit wish for more of the same. Admit that out loud. So do more. So things that your partner's doing that you absolutely want them to continue to do, vocalize it. Hey, I so appreciate you take the trash out. Hey, I appreciate you paid the bills. Hey, I appreciate you cooking dinner. Do more of those things. You want someone to do more of it. Talk about how you appreciate it. It's a conscious effort to do that. Okay. But anything behind resentments is an implicit ask. So, Elizabeth got a good question. I suppose you're building up the compliments, not letting that bother you to build up becoming ammunition for later. Absolutely, Elizabeth. Elizabeth is kind of like, I think that's what he's saying. I think that's interesting because what he's saying is not just talk about resentments, but underneath it is an ask. It's like, I'd love for you to stop doing that. I'm going to invite you to please stop doing that because it hurts my feelings. So remember, always communicate and listen. It's up to your partner whether they want to do anything about it. They may change. They may choose not to change, or they may have to think about it. But whatever it is, at least they'll know why. Why things aren't going the way you might want them to go. At least they'll know why. The biggest thing is to assume that somebody can read your mind. They can't read your mind. I can't read your mind. I'm trying to get there, but I can't read your mind. You're going to have to say it. So it's building up this closeness with your partner so that you can say things that bother you. And you can also, of course, talk about things that you want to talk about, because I want to please my husband. So if I'm doing something that bothers him, I want him to be able to tell me about it. Like Netta says, calmness. Say it to me calmly. Say it to me with respect. I can listen to that. Okay, moving on. Mindfully loving partners never consciously engage in hurtful behaviors. They're not consciously doing it. Mindfully loving partners never consciously engage in hurtful behavior toward one another. They police themselves and place under arrest all of the pilferers from the ever so vulnerable hope chest of intimacy. Hate, vendetta, violence, ridicule, insult, lying, competition, punishment, shaming, under arrest. All of those things are under arrest. You don't do that. That's not allowed in relationships. We ask one another how we're doing along these lines. So not only do you need to articulate what's bothering you, but you need to be open for hearing how you may be bothering your partner and having a conversation about it. He's saying on a daily basis, hey, don't sit on anything. Don't go to bed holding it in. Interesting. Okay. Okay, next section is, first of all, can y'all do that? Let's all agree that this is healthy. Being able to articulate it in a way that's not hurtful, knowing and understanding that your partner is not consciously trying to hurt your feelings, although this may happen. So it's important to speak up. It's important to say what's on their mind so that it doesn't turn into real resentment. Got it. So that's the first practice. Yes, it's healthy. Number 2, what else he asked you to do? Standing up to abuse. Okay. No relationship should take away even one of our human rights. A true relationship is cost-free. A relationship in which one partner continuously seeks approval of the other is a child-parent dyad, not an adult-to-adult dyad. There's no need to ask your spouse for permission to do something. There's no need to do that because that's parent-child behavior. You can have an adult-to-adult conversation with someone and come into the conversation talking about things that you want, things that you need in a relationship, but not a parent-child, not like, Daddy, I'm asking you for permission, or Mama, I need to get permission. That's unhealthy in adult relationships. Okay. In an adult relationship, however, we can drop our poses, our attempts to look good, and earn love. We are loved as we are. So it's not like, listen, you got to do this. In order to be loved, you have to give me money. In order to be loved, you have to do these things. No, you are loved just by existing. So that's a given. There's no need to earn somebody's love. Not one person is earning of someone's love. You just are loved just by who and what you are. That's healthy. Furthermore, when we live as adults, anyone can hate us. Perfectly fine. Anyone can hate us, but no one can harm us. No one can harm us. But you can hate me all you want. But don't put your hands on me. Don't insult me. Don't put me down. Okay? We refuse to become victims of abuse. Instead, we speak up. And this is what you say. He's giving you words to say, how to speak up. You seem to hate me. And I am sorry for the pain. I'm sorry for the pain in that for both of us. However, when you come at me in a violent way, I have to stop you. I cannot let you hurt me or abuse me. I can only let you tell me how you feel. Unacceptable. I have to stop you. Sometimes you have to stop somebody by calling the authorities. There are systems in place for people that can't keep their hands to themselves when they're mad and when they're angry, and they need to be part of that system, because it's a crime to put your hands on somebody when you're angry. Hit the like button and share this with somebody who you think may be going through some issues of violence, intimate partner violence. Share this with them, because this gives them the language that they are not victims of abuse. Adults are not victims of abuse. You have to stand up and speak up and say, you seem to hate me. And I'm sorry for the pain in that for both of us, because both people are in pain. However, when you come at me in a violent way, I have to stop you. That's a given. Boundaries. I cannot let you hurt me or abuse me. I just can't let you do that. I can only let you tell me how you feel. Talk to me about anger. Talk to me about disappointment. Talk to me about how you feel, but don't put your hands on me. No violence. And this is for women too, because sometimes women can be very violent. Violence includes invective and insult, not just physical assault. We're talking about verbally attacking somebody or threatening someone. When faced with an abusive situation, I recommend the following 3-step approach. Okay. Share this video with somebody who you think might benefit from this, because this is very serious here. I recommend the following 3-step approach. Stand your ground by showing your pain and stating your limits. Show your pain. That hurt. That's illegal. I cannot let you do this. Stay with your partner if he or she is open and responsive. If they're not open and they've lost it and they're not responsive, you don't stay with them. And number 3, get away if he or she refuses to calm down. Okay, I got some other thoughts in my head about some of the things that you can do, but I think this can suffice. These steps simultaneously build intimacy because they contain 2 critical elements of it. Number 1, show your pain, while standing your ground shows vulnerability, not that of a victim, but that of a strong person. Stating your limits is to maintain boundaries and be self-disclosing. Like, you don't get to hit me and be able to stay in this relationship. You don't get to hurt me and not want to fix yourself. You have to go bye-bye, right? There are systems in place for you. There's a lot of things you can do if you feel like you're in a dangerous situation. I think a safety plan would be helpful. I think reaching out to a professional would be very, very helpful to come up with safety planning. If you're truly in a very violent situation, packing a bag, having money and credit cards and important documents, copies of them at least, in a bag, maybe by the door or hidden in a bush somewhere, or even with a neighbor down the street. If you have children by someone and you know you need to escape to safety, coming up with a plan for that. So there's things that you can do with the helping professional to make sure that you plan for if or when you're in a situation you feel like your safety is jeopardized. It's very important that you really take those steps seriously, particularly if you're in a relationship with somebody who is threatening, constantly threatening, and you're walking on eggshells and they resort to violence. So that is important to consider, among other things. I mean, that's just tip of the iceberg, but there's some other things to consider. But in the nutshell, staying out of, National Domestic Violence Hotline. Somebody get the hotline number and put it up in the chat, and then I will, I'll call out the numbers. But 988, if you text 988 on your phone or call 988, that's the National Crisis Line, and that they'll connect you to somebody you need to be connected with. Also, if you feel unsafe, I would stay out of the kitchen, because there's sharp items in kitchens bad things can happen. Stay out of the bathroom, because it's easy to be trapped in the bathroom. Just different things like that you need to keep in mind. You can reach out to me, Coaching with Dr. Alicia, and we can work on some safety planning. But yeah, it's important to do that. So he's talking about conflict. When conflict arises, sometimes it can be violent. And so he's trying to help you tease out what you need to do in those instances. Okay, so I'm on page 155, and he is saying, to stay with someone does not mean you have to put up with abuse. It means to engage in addressing, processing, and resolving. So to be in a relationship with somebody, you need to be able to be addressing issues, engaging in addressing issues, processing issues, and resolving. As long as you're continuing that, then at least you two are working towards something. But to stay through an experience with a tortured person means staying connected to that person without letting them torture you. You don't get to torture me. To stay is a practice of mindfulness that involves devotion to the reality of love. When someone who hates you sees that you suffer but do not abandon him, he may trust you and eventually open his hating fist. Staying is not a strategy for making others change. However, we stay because of our commitment to putting mindfulness before censure and compassion before ego. This is what he's saying. We return love for hate, seeking communion, not retribution. If we achieve closeness with the other, we are happy. If it takes time, we stay with it. If it fails, we let it go. If it fails, we let it go. So what he's saying is that there has to be an engagement in addressing the issues, processing the issues, and resolving. But staying in a relationship, which many women do, that does not mean you get permission. And men do that too. That does not mean you are giving that person permission to make you suffer. Okay. He had to get all of that out of the way. And then he goes on to happiness. So how y'all feeling? How y'all doing? I'm Dr. Alicia with Coaching with Dr. Alicia. There's my website here, safety planning. If you're ever in a violent situation or know someone there, you can reach out to me. I can connect you with some local people in your area. For all of you all who are just joining me today, we are talking about how to be an adult in relationships, the 5 keys to mindful loving by David Richo. We're on chapter 5, talking all about conflict. I just finished a section on abuse. By the way, if you guys are interested in getting text notifications on whenever I go live on a Sunday, text the word love, LOVE, to 87948, and then you'll be able to know when I'm going live on Sunday. Sunday is a day where I see clients. And so whenever I get time in my schedule, I'll fit in some time to do the book club. But, my clients come first. So I got to address and deal with clients in Healing Haven group and a lot of other things that I do on a Sunday. So in between my time for today, will spend some time with you guys. Okay. Latanya has a question. Great info, Dr. Alicia. Thank you. Great, you offer services for difficult times for couples. Yeah, it's a tough thing to do, when you're having a really difficult time with someone and, you have children, you have a mortgage, you've accumulated things with that person. So sometimes it can become really difficult. But you owe it to your partner and your family to try to work on the relationship. Okay, getting a swig of water and trying to find out. Oh, so the next section is on happiness. Okay, so we're shifting gears. He's spending some time talking about happiness. He's saying you got to gauge happiness in your relationship. He's saying that sometimes we need to take some time and gauge out this sense of happiness. Okay, so this is where you need to take your journals out. So he's saying, if you are unhappy in a relationship, you may think it's your partner's fault. Hello. So you're going to think it's your partner's fault that you are unhappy. Oh, Lord, because it's, if only my partner were to do things differently, then I'd be happy. Oh my gosh. Okay. It may actually be because you yourself do not believe you have a right to happiness. You got to create your own happiness. It is never the responsibility of another person to make you happy. It is not your responsibility to make another person happy. They have to cultivate that in themselves. Interesting. Consider these signs of such a belief. Which one applies to you? Write for 3 minutes about each of them as you experience them. Then formulate the opposite of each statement and write about how it might apply to you. So listen to this. Okay. Think about these statements and write about how they apply to you. Get your journals out. Statement number 1. I believe my purpose in life is not to enjoy, but to endure. Does that sound like anybody? Raise your hand if that sounds like you. How about that? Do you believe your purpose in life is not to enjoy, but to just endure? Okay. Second statement. Others always come first. I can't come first. Other people must come first. Does that sound like you? Okay. Number 3, loyalty to others comes at the expense of loyalty to myself. I am motivated by indebtedness, history, guilt, and pity. So I am motivated to be in a relationship because I feel indebted to that person. I'm motivated to be in a relationship because we have history together. I'm motivated to be in a relationship only because I feel guilty. I'm motivated to be in a relationship with this person because I feel sorry for them. I pity them. Oh, the second one. Oh my goodness. Okay, number 4. I continually deny my self-protective instinct. Self-protective instinct. I know I need to protect myself, but I deny that. I let other people take advantage of me. I give and give and give, but I don't expect anything in return. I was like the giving tree. Just take and take and take. One-sided relationships. Sounds like somebody who, anyway, I won't say, but anyway. I cannot speak up about or change or leave a relationship. I can't, because that might hurt someone else. I say to myself, You made your bed, now lie in it. Does that sound like anybody? I'm just going to be in this relationship. I done made my bed. I got to lie in it. I married this person 30 years ago. Ain't nothing I can do about it. So I got to stay here. Okay. Here's the next one. Before I claim my own partner or fulfill my needs. Oh, before I claim my own power or fulfill my needs, I must first make others happy. I'm responsible for other people's happiness before I can fulfill my needs. As long as I keep my partner happy, my relationship is successful. So my only job in this relationship is to make sure my partner is happy. And then that's success. Where's your happiness? When that was like, hell no. What? When that was like, immediately no. Immediately no. Hey, Dr. Vibe, how you doing? Yeah, we're great. We are fine. We are safe. How are you? I hope you and everybody is okay. We're sitting here talking about these statements. Oh my God, what do you think about it? What do you think about? Okay. The last one is I am willing to let a partner hurt me. Even if you hurt me, I'm going to stay with you no matter what. I don't care. You can hurt me and I'll stay with you. You know, it's interesting because he kind of ends with talking about parental expectations, culture can reinforce these statements, religious beliefs can reinforce you staying in a situation. Okay, Elizabeth is seeing herself in number 6. Why are you staying? Why are you not addressing number 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Before I claim my own power or fulfill my needs, I must first make others happy. Yeah, women, Elizabeth, a lot of women feel like this has to be, where you have to just sacrifice yourself constantly. These messages that we get. Religious beliefs are sometimes modeled after some of these statements. And he says, and that means they still rule your psyche. When do I take over the Oval Office of my own psyche? So he's saying that you're gauging your happiness. He's saying that sometimes people gauge their happiness based on these core beliefs and behaviors. People equate their purpose in life with enduring rather than enjoying. Sometimes they take on the weight of others' happiness as their own responsibility. You're responsible for someone else's happiness. And this mindset can result in you prioritizing others over yourself. You talk about resentment that builds up. Lots of resentment builds up. So maybe his way of vocalizing resentment is saying, I'm just as important as anybody else. So when you place loyalty to others above self-loyalty, or when you are driven by feelings of indebtedness, guilt, pity, history, rather than genuine self-desire, that there's this mindset that comes with this, and that people with these perspectives may find themselves suppressing how they really feel in relationships because they're unable to speak up, or they feel like they can't change a situation, or they feel like they're going to hurt other people. So, you know, for instance, the thought of you made your bed, now lie in it. You know, that's a belief in accepting unhappiness as permanent. That you're unhappy, I'm accepting it. That's very depressing. That change is possible in relationships. So the idea of prioritizing others before meeting your own needs, whether in relationships or personal endeavors, that leads to burnout. You're emotionally stagnant. You define your relationship success by your ability to keep your partner happy. That's a lot on you. Even at the detriment of your own well-being, you're supposed to endure hurt to be in a relationship. Just to say you married to somebody, just to say you got a husband, you're supposed to endure hurt, and that's success. I don't know. I think we need to revisit cultural norms that promote this. Religions, high control religions will promote this. um, Religious teachings may contribute, especially when they interpret ways that kind of glorify self-denial, that you have to be patient, that you wives, you have to serve your husband. You know, that that's spiritual growth. And so I think we need to kind of take another look at that. I don't know. What do y'all think? Unhealthy. Jerome said, I'm a 52-year-old man. I knew I wouldn't get married with society, but I'm looking for a great woman. Yes, Jerome. If you're tuning into this video, you're gonna be a great husband. I think this is all about how to be great spouses one day. Uh, yeah, sometimes the interpretations of religion can be a little skewed, right? I don't think that's what religion is supposed to be. Um, what Jerome say? Doing this is powerful, and you're talking this for a woman, but I'm in the wrong chat. Oh, Jerome, you're in the right chat. You're ready. Jerome is gonna be ready for a wife. Anyway, so let's move on. I think that's really fascinating. Look on practices that you need to do to evaluate each one of those statements. Okay, moving on. Addressing, processing, and resolving. Page 156 at the bottom. Make a commitment to yourself and to your partner that you will bring up all your concerns rather than covering them up or disregarding them. So he's saying you need to have a conversation with your partner about this. Listen, I'm open. I'm open for feedback. If I'm doing anything that's bothering you, or if you're doing anything that's bothering me, let's give each other permission to talk about it, because we love each other and we're committed to each other. Okay? To address an issue is to make the implicit explicit. You need to be explicit in your conversations, right? You can't assume anything. Y'all know what happens when you assume. Can't assume anything. You got to make it explicit. This includes what gnaws at you from within, or what you keep feeling but fail to mention. I'm looking at men. Let me tell you, I find that women will really talk about things, but men need to talk about stuff. Y'all need to talk about things. All human feelings are legitimate. All of them. All human feelings are legitimate. That means when you are feeling something that you feel like you need to communicate, you need to say it because it's legitimate. And also, you need to be able to hear it. You got to be able to hear it. Feelings about something you may have done that's hurtful. Instead of denying it, instead of minimizing it, instead of saying what's wrong with you, you need therapy, something wrong with you, instead of doing that, you need to regard it as legitimate. All human feelings are legitimate and need to be communicated in healthy adult relationships. To accept the validity of one another's feelings is to listen to them with the 5 A's. Hello. What's the 5 A's? The first one, awareness. So awareness, let's see what awareness helps you identify underlying emotions, beliefs, patterns of behavior that drive sacrifice, acceptance. Being accepting. That means accepting that person, coming to terms with the existence of patterns and behaviors. So you have to be open to the 5 A's: allowing, appreciating. I appreciate the fact that you came to me to talk to me about it. You respected me enough to talk to me about it. Appreciating, allowing, accepting someone's interpretations, someone's feelings. All of these things are very, very important. Affection, showing affection. Oh, I hurt your feelings. I'm really sorry. Come here. Give me a hug. All of these things. This can heal. Thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth bringing up the 5 A's. In case y'all don't know, the 5 A's are attention, acceptance, appreciation, affection, and allowing. Allowing. Very, very important to do this, particularly when a partner is trying to share something with you, a feeling, without ego, defense, or argumentativeness. No arguing. Okay. To address an issue is thus a choice to be more loving, since it is a respectful commitment to one another's truth. Yes, respecting a person is showing that you are committed to another person's truth. It ain't your perspective. It's that other person's perspective, and it's real to them. Although you may disagree, that's perfectly fine, but at least listening, showing the 5 A's: attention, acceptance, appreciation, affection, and allowing. Let somebody know. We don't do enough of that. We definitely don't do enough of that online. Oh, Lord. We don't do enough of that. Black people don't do enough of that. And you know why we don't do enough of that? Because we weren't given a lot of that as a whole. Okay. Let's continue on page 157. If you find it difficult to know the full implication and nuances of your own feelings, here is an easy, entertaining technique that may help you. Okay. Take one word that best describes what you are feeling and look it up in a thesaurus. Read the list of words under that entry to your partner, commenting after each word whether and how it fits. For instance, you may feel frustrated, but then you realize that that includes an element of plaintive or bitter disappointment, and perhaps an expectation that was too high. Maybe your expectations were too high and you feel really disappointed. To process an issue means to explore and work through the implications of an event and the intentions behind the behavior of the principal. So what were you trying to accomplish here? This happens both with attention to feelings and in search of a change. Here's a simple 3-step technique for processing events. So there's an event that you need to process. Number 1, say, what happened to you as you saw it? So let's think of an event. Maybe you're at a dinner party and your partner says something out loud that you felt you didn't want it shared and you felt really embarrassed and hurt by it. Let's just say that's the event. Okay, so you need to communicate that. You don't need to bury that down. You need to have a conversation with your partner about it. Okay, so here's a process for dealing with this situation. So he's saying, say what happened as you saw it. Okay, so you're sitting down with your partner and you say, hey, I want to talk to you about something that happened last night. It's kind of been on my mind and it's bothering me a little bit and I'm kind of mad at you about it. Is now a good time to talk about it? And sometimes it is. Yeah, I'll listen to you. And then you, number 1, Say what happened as you saw it. Here's what I experienced. And you just say, now listen, it's the other person's job to do the 5 A's. So you have to allow that person to get out what they're saying. Okay. Say what happened as you saw it. Express what you felt then and what you feel now. Say, I felt really embarrassed. I was really like worried. People were judging me. And I didn't really care for you talking about something that was so important to me. I wish you had gotten my experience. It don't matter if it's on purpose, Jerome. You have to go into, Jerome's asking, what if it was on purpose? That's not important. You have to, if you're in a committed relationship with someone, you have to be willing, like you talked about, to listen to it, to process it, to work through these things. You can assume, saying that what that person did was on purpose, you're making an assumption, Jerome. So you got to get this, Jerome, because sometimes you be in a relationship with some lady and she may do something to hurt your feelings. And if you assume that it was on purpose, that's not very helpful. This is where you need to be in control of your own happiness. Yeah, Jerome, good question though. You have a conversation. I think that when you're in a committed relationship with somebody, that you really have to assume the best, but they still need to know what they did and how it hurt you. You can't jump into someone's head and be able to assume their intention behind something. Yeah. So you have to watch that. Like, what if it was on purpose? Well, I would watch jumping to conclusions. What you could say, Jerome, is step one, when he talks about say what happened as you saw it, express how you felt, then how you feel now, and then explore what is left to be resolved and follow up. So you might want to say, you know what? I was kind of feeling like really disappointed in you because you said something that I thought was very personal. And I started thinking to myself, wow, I wonder if they did this on purpose. Check in with that person. Did you try to hurt my feelings? Don't come to that conclusion. Check in and say, am I just out there by like assuming that you did that on purpose? I wouldn't think that you would. And then that person will tell you, and whatever they tell you, you have to believe. I know I have a different background because I'm not home. I'm out and about. So I'm in my virtual office. Okay. So he's saying you need to explore what is left to be resolved, follow up. Doing this on a daily basis makes fewer problems and less stress. And you know what, Jerome? Sometimes people can accuse you of doing something on purpose. Like, you got to be like, I love you. I wouldn't do anything to hurt you on purpose. Thank you for telling me, though. You need to know. Okay. Moving on. Resolution begins when you make the agreement to change a pattern of behavior so that a dysfunctional cycle can be broken. That's all I do all day. I work with my couples. I see the cycle between the two of them. It ain't working for either one. And then I try to disrupt it. Like, what if you did something different? What if you did this instead of this? We have to disrupt these toxic patterns because that's how resentment builds up. So anyway, it is complete when a new and more fulfilling cycle of relating has become second nature. For adults, there is then no abiding grudge or bringing up the past. Can't keep bringing up the past because we've solved the problem. If you have a partner that keeps bringing up the past, there's something still about that past that's not resolved in them. And you got to stop the presses. Oh my God, my spouse is worried about something. He keeps bringing this up again, over and over again. There must be something unresolved for them. And then you show patience. How about that? Patience. Love is patient, love is kind, right? Okay. It is now complete when a new and more fulfilling style of relating has come second nature. For adults, there is no abiding grudge or bringing up the past. Full resolution is ultimately the automatic result of full addressing and processing. An unwillingness to address, unwillingness to process, and unwillingness to resolve issues is a sign of despair, the death of a relationship. The death of a relationship. Say goodbye to a relationship. Yes, Dr. Vibe. They won't let it go. There's still some unresolved stuff there. And you got to be patient. You got to invite them. Listen, there's still stuff unresolved. You come to me and you talk to me about it as much as you can, because I want to help us through this. You got a problem, I got a problem, we got a problem together. Let me see where I am with stuff. Okay, I'm reading on. How y'all doing? I know Dr. Vibe is like so cool. Y'all all right? Everybody all right? I'm Dr. Alicia with Coaching with Dr. Alicia. There's my website. Y'all see my website? Contact me if you need help with some of this. Disrupting these patterns. I love being a toxic pattern disruptor. I've seen couples come back from the brink. And I'm not saying that I can guarantee that your relationship will be saved, but one thing I can guarantee is that we're going to talk about it. We're going to resolve it. We're going to deal with it. So that's all I can say about that. You got to text LOVE, LOVE to 87948 if you want to know when I go live. I will go live next Sunday. I can't do it every day. Listen, I got a full-time job as a college professor. So I just can't go live. I would love to do this every single day, but I can't do that. I got things to do. I got projects and stuff that I'm working on. Anyway, I'll see you guys next Sunday. But before we end, let's keep going here. How to Be an Adult in Relationship. That's our book for our book club. Hopefully you can see it. It's by David Richo. Get that man his money and get that book because he is killing it. It's the 5 keys to mindful loving. One thing I will say, mindfulness is the answer to everything. You want to know how to be better at work? Practice mindfulness. You want to know how to be a better wife? Practice mindfulness. You want to know how to be a better husband? Practice mindfulness. You want to know how to be a better citizen in the world? Practice mindfulness. Practice mindfulness. So he's infusing mindfulness principles into relationships. And boy, do we as Black folks need it. I think we need it. But anyway, moving on. I'm on page 157. We're working our way through this book. Okay. Reporting impact. Whew, he's talking about communicating. You got to report the impact, right? Anything our partner does that gives rise to a feeling in us deserves a report about that feeling and its impact on us. You got to report it. Nobody can read your mind. We say, when you did this, I felt this. When you did this, I felt this. I love it. When you took out the trash, I felt happy. When you gave me a hug, I felt secure. So you got to get into that. Get into the habit. Oh my God. When you held my hand, I felt safe. Just get in the habit of saying, when you do this, I felt this. Get in the habit. It's going to require you to get in touch with yourself. Oh, Dr. Vive says mindfulness. Mindfulness is practicing the 5 A's. That's what mindfulness is, Dr. Vibe. We had a lady in here who spelled them all out. Elizabeth talked about it. Practicing attention without distraction, accepting without judging, appreciating, right? Appreciating without criticizing, showing affection without rejecting, and allowing. That's mindfulness in relationships. Being in a place of mindfulness, not being distracted, is being mindful in your response, thoughtful in how you speak to somebody. I think it's practicing adulthood. Your wise adulthood. That's mindfulness. Thank you, Elizabeth. Good question. Okay. All right. So constantly get it in your mind to talk about and give feedback and report the impact of your partner's behavior on you, giving constant feedback to that. We say it mindfully. That is without blame or expectation. It's simple information. No one causes a feeling, but action and words are the catalyst of feelings. The other partner listens without offering an immediate solution or become defensive. Listen. People are so defensive. It is such a habit. It started early on in life. Like being defensive is something that starts when you're a child and it just becomes embedded to be immediately defensive. And that tells you have some self-esteem issues and some shame going on. And, probably healing needs to happen if you can't stop yourself from being defensive because you're going back to this childlike state, not adulthood state. But anyway, don't become defensive and ask, what do you fear? What do you believe about me or about this? What do you want from me right now? What do you want from me? That's not a good response. That's defensiveness. Get together with your partner and repeat these questions back and forth for 5 minutes. Okay, take your pen and paper out. Repeat these questions back and forth for 5 minutes. What are the questions? Okay, the questions are, when we are committed to working on ourselves, we welcome the questions raised in this book, the information about ourselves that we learn from answering them. Are you beginning to welcome them? Wait, what question? Oh, ask this question. Ask, what is it that you're afraid of? He's telling you need to ask that question. What do you believe about me? What do you want? What do you want from me right now? Oh, I see. So he's saying ask those questions to your partner when they tell you about something you did to hurt them. He's saying you need to dive into it by asking about, what fears do you have? What do you believe about me? What do you want from me right now? He's saying you should do that instead of becoming defensive. Being committed to yourselves, we welcome the questions raised and the information about ourselves that we learn from answering them. Are you beginning to welcome them? So you need to welcome. Welcome when your partner comes to you and talks to you about a feeling that they have, and encourage them to do so. Dive into it. Don't get defensive. Resist being defensive. I get it now. Resist being defensive. Be open to each other. And that's how you deal with conflict. There's more. Oh, there's more. But we're going to tackle that next week. Oh my gosh. It's been over an hour. I think that's enough for today. Get your journals ready for next week. We're going to talk about finding a center, protecting your energy. Ooh. Matching what I want with what I can give. Not having to know, okay, they got good stuff here. Auditing, distinguishing conflict from drama. Oh, hello. That's important. We don't need no drama. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining me today. Thank you, Mia and Cherie and Dr. Vibe and Jerome. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Definitely tune in next Sunday. I'll be completing the conversation about conflict. I'm Dr. Alicia, coaching with Dr. Alicia. Fill out my intake form. I'll reach out to you. And don't forget to text the word love, LOVE, to 87948. So you'll know whenever I go live next Sunday. I don't know what time I'm going to go live. It all depends on clients and how I can fit the book club into a Sunday night. But anyway, without further ado, I want to say goodbye to everybody and make sure you have your journals ready and you practice on a daily basis talking about things you don't like and things you do like, showing appreciation, and also talking about resentments. Good luck to everybody. Bye-bye.